guys, it's me Nash, and I'm going to give you the episode 4 of SmackDown plus the Saturday's Night main event. Not gonna lie, uh, Saturday's Night main event is a good show, honestly. But SmackDown is like one of those things that we kind of question ourselves because, you know, it wasn't a good show. Like the only show that I could recommend if you want wrestling, it would be the first match, the United States Championship, between Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov. But the ending wasn't that supposed to happen, and regardless, we already saw the match between Carmelo and Ilya already at some point. But we will start first with SmackDown, how this show from worst to get to Saturday's Night main event as one of the, you know, a good start of a PLE type of 2026. Okay, so first we'll get to SmackDown. So we started off with the open segment between Sami Zayn, Trick Williams, and Damian Priest. Of course, at the end, of course, after they kind of, brawl, not that much, too much brawl in the beginning, they kind of separate from each other, and then we start off with the United States Championship match between Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov. Honestly, this is a good match, but I kind of feel disappointed because The Miz had to interfere. But it is what it is. The fact that Ilya also sold the first 48 to win the match is kind of a bit insane. Next one, we get to a second match. WWE Women's Champion Jade Cargill defeats Chelsea Green, a non-title match. So I guess this is a heel versus heel, but of course it's like Chelsea did not give too much offense and Jade basically took the win. Jordan Grace didn't do much because supposedly, she's just there trying to scout, this match. Of course that she's going to face against Jade someday. We don't know when. And then the next one, the third match, we get to the MFTs versus the Wine Six. Honestly, I don't think people care that much about this match. It's not really one of those matches that we are looking forward, but we got new WWE Tag Team Champions, MFTs. And yeah, that's basically it what you get from this match. Not that too, special. For some reason we get to the best first match to go down to, I guess, one of those matches that wouldn't matter, the third match, and then after that the fourth match, um, Nathan Frazier versus Johnny Gargano is already reported. I think that Tommaso is no longer gonna be part of WWE. I guess either take a break or go somewhere in other wrestling promotion, who knows. But yeah, this is one of those matches that they kind of, focused during the past few weeks about Axiom's mask. The one thing I did like this match, honestly, it's because, well, to be fair though, despite Nathan Frazier won, the only thing that is the one that I didn't like about the ending is I think Axiom wasn't, too smart with the decision because knowing that after he took the mask from Candice LeRae, Candice for some reason took the mask. So that might be the biggest dumbest type of baby face that you don't even at least try to, figure it out, that you just took something and for some reason, he just lost it again, which is, there is no doubt that that might be the worst babyface type of feeling, that you just took something you want and then now it's already been taken again, which doesn't make any sense. Next one would be Drew McIntyre trying to do a segment, and at the same time, he's going to, tell all the foreign competitors. We already know who, but basically, he gave his, words about, who is going to face him at the Rumble. Then we get to the fifth match, which is Julia and Kiana James defeated Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax and Last Legend, number one contenders for the women's tag team championships. So this is a triple threat tag team match. And of course, like Rio, we already know Rio in Saturday's night main event retained, so they're gonna face, I don't know when, but we'll maybe see maybe just next week or the following week, who knows. And then after that, Damian Priest versus Trick Williams. This is the main event. Um, I think this is the sixth match. Yeah, sixth match, and ended in a non contest because Sami Zayn attacked Trick Williams, so he won by disqualification. Basically, what Trick did is that he tossed Damian Priest to Sami, and that's when the brawl happens. And it ended up in a ending where Randy Orton stood tall because he gave RKO's to Trick Williams and Sami Zayn. After Trick Williams hit you could say the trick shot on Damian Priest. So that's basically your SmackDown. But honestly, the main event wasn't that much. Here's the thing. I think the main event wasn't a show match or a type of a match of the show that would be too hyped. For some reason, the Montreal crowd was, he was all right. I feel like, if I was there, I'll be a bit disappointed that this is all they can give, especially a go home show before Saturday's night main event. So I guess it's all right. It's just a regular SmackDown, but not one of the best SmackDowns we get from this year. So this could be one of the worst SmackDown we get. So getting out that away from the worst SmackDown, and we'll start first with the Saturday's Night main event, how SmackDown became worse, and then we get to a good show in the Saturday's Night main event. First match was Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, so they kind of brawl all over the arena. And later on, after they toss all that security, tossing trash bins and all that stuff, here comes Drew McIntyre, and yes, it's kind of a bit disappointing because I think that we want more. I thought that we were going to have a winner of this match, but they're kind of protecting two wrestlers, which is like, okay, that's if that's their thing, it is what it is. After that, we get to, I guess, your actual first match of the night, which is the Women's Tag Team Championships. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. So Rio defeated them. There is a thing that happened on the match where I think they almost, well, to be honest, I think Io kind of botched, I think, and then followed by another, almost a loss of a pinfall for Rio to lose the championships because Rhea wasn't there to almost, I would say, kick out the pinfall attempt. But good thing that Io was able to kick out despite that Rhea wasn't there. And to be honest, the referee was counting slow. So it's one of those things that, yeah, I think Liv and Roxanne got robbed, but it is what it is. But followed by of course Stephanie Baker and attacking Raquel Rodriguez. So we're gonna have that match maybe after Royal Rumble, or maybe the following week. We don't know when we're gonna have the Women's World Champion matchup. So yeah, after that we get to the second match of the official night of the night, which is AJ Styles defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. This is arguably their best match, besides their WrestleMania 34 match back in 2018, which is awfully disappointing. This is basically the redemption type of match that they gave it their all, and honestly, you know, despite that there was no build up of the feud because of course like I forget that on SmackDown you basically have Shinsuke and AJ Styles, another best part of the show that they kind of talk and then sell this match for the next night. Even if they don't build up the match, they have history, especially in New Japan, and it was kind of a bit great to see that these two legends fight off for the last time because, word has been said that maybe AJ Styles is going to have his retirement match if Well, basically, if he lose, and that could be his full-time career on the line, where if he loses, he's no longer gonna wrestle ever again. But who knows? But there were reports about his contract is going to expire soon. I think if that was the truth, so I guess this could be the last time we will see about AJ Styles. And then after that, we get to the main event. Sami Zayn defeats Randy Orton, Damian Priest, and Trick Williams. This is for the number one contenders fatal four way for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. So it's gonna be predictable because we all know that Sami is going to win, especially that one of the segments that happened backstage where he slapped Drew McIntyre, and at the same time, when you think about it, like we're going, most likely the Rumble is gonna go to the Saudi show on Saudis or the Saudi show. So it's most likely Sammy has the crowd advantage. But to me, I feel like that Drew is going to beat Sammy overall. Like you can't just let Drew win and only for him to lose against the Sammy. Like it would make a lot of sense that Drew is going to win the match, and at the same time, like Drew interferes again. So for me, it's like the next 2 minutes. It's not really, I feel like Drew shouldn't interfere because just because you're gonna face against Sammy, you're gonna wait for that for next week, your encounter with Sammy, and then basically you can have the match on the Royal Rumble. But I think that doing this is a sign where, yeah, basically Sammy succeed, and then there you basically walking with confidence, hoping that next week, hoping you're not getting beat down by Drew. But if you did, well, basically, what's gonna happen? Yeah, you can have the last laugh, but in the end of the day, Drew is gonna win the championship at the Royal Rumble. But to me, I feel like they should add that, let Sammy celebrated the win, and because this is his big moment in Montreal, especially that the last time his match in Montreal, he didn't even beat for the championship. So let him have the moment. So that's basically it for my review for this Saturday's Night Main Event. Became a great show, but here's the thing: the fact that SmackDown we get the worst show after we watch, I guess most of us would watch WWE Unreal, goes to show that the creative team was giving us too much of a headache at the fall of 2025. The fact for the women's US Championship division was awful because of the decision making, by the creative team is awful to say the least. But, you know, despite that we get the worst SmackDown, hopefully they don't do this again next week because this is going to be the go home show of the SmackDown for the Rumble. The fact that the build up wasn't that, it doesn't make me hype up, but hopefully it's gonna be alright. Also, I wanted to add in that Roman Reigns is going to return to the Rumble via video package, and it's messed up. Because here's the thing, I understand that Roman doesn't need to go to Montreal for some reason. I don't know, maybe the weather or some sort, but it's like, you could at least make Roman do a via satellites of a video, like that would be the one that is going to address that okay, Roman is going to be a part of the Rumble. But instead they you gave him a video package, which is kind of a bit depressing knowing that it is around the the SmackDown that wasn't that good. And then yeah, we're gonna wait for the tribal chief to be at the Rumble. We don't know what number. There are a lot of rumors that he's one of those guys who's gonna win, or either Braun Breaker. But yeah, I think that's all I can give for this review for both shows. Honestly, I hope that WWE should be careful not to book bad shows on a weekly basis, and we get more of a good show for a PLE because look, 2025 is awful. Hopefully they're gonna redeem this year. Despite we already got the first strike of having a worse SmackDown, I hope that they ain't going to do this ever again. So that's all I can say. Thank you for watching, guys, and we will see each other in the next episode. And I think it will be Raw, episode 4. So once again, thank you for watching, and we will see each other in the next episode, guys. Peace.